So shout out to Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan passed away at 33 or 34 years old. Some outlets are projecting and saying that he passed away at 33. Others are saying that he passed away at 34. I'm going to go with 33 right now as of the New York Post. So the New York Post is basically saying that he was foaming at the mouth. His girlfriend is saying that he was foaming at the mouth without a heartbeat when his girlfriend discovered him. And that's what the 911 call was saying. Goes on to say his girlfriend discovered his lifeless body on the couch inside of their Atlanta home and called 911. The rapper's significant other was frantic while telling the operator that he was not breathing and didn't have a heartbeat, according to a recording by TMZ. According to the girlfriend, Rich Homie Quan never came to bed after falling asleep on the couch Wednesday evening. Before taking her son to school Thursday morning, she had placed a blanket over the artist after realizing he hadn't moved. Goes on to say she checked on him when she returned because he never got up. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't see him breathing, the girlfriend says. She then reveals that the type of way the rapper foamed at the mouth when she turned him over. At one point, she asked the operator if she could add his dad to the call, but the dispatcher instructed her and says, "We need to help your boyfriend now. He's not waking up. Quick." The girlfriend pleads before the operator tells her that help is coming. Goes on to say the platinum selling rapper was born on October 4th, 1990, passed away suddenly on Thursday, September 5th. According to the Fulton County Medical Examiner, was notified by Grady Memorial Hospital of his death, and the cause of his death is unknown. There are other things that is going. There's a lot of things like Rich Boosie was saying that he just recently talked to him. It was some DM saying that he caught a bad pill. And so right now they're basically assuming that it was a drug overdose, but that is what's going on. Rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan. I'm gonna start with Mika on this one. Mika, what are your thoughts on the passing of Rich Homie Quan?
I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's not drugs because it it puts a bad. That's already on there, but it just keeps putting a bad stain on black men, and especially black men in music. That they all are just junkies, especially the rappers. Like the rappers are now like the rockers. And they all live these type of lifestyles.
I think
But
that
he hasn't released music in a while.
he
I
was
mean, he
kind of
was pretty
making a
good when
comeback
he
though.
was.
He was kind of
Huh?
visible. He has started being a lot more visible
Yeah, he
in
was still
social
visible.
media though.
I haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah, he was really talented from a musical
Mm-hmm.
perspective. I think that the drug thing came from the rock stars and the
Mm-hmm.
previous, because drugs have always been a part of music. It was a part of the early rock stars and the early musicians, even black musicians. Marvin Gaye, he was a heavy drug user. When that motherfucker was singing on that couch, I want you, and he was singing that shit. That motherfucker was high out of his mind, but he was singing his ass off. You know what I'm saying? Prince, Michael Jackson, some of them, the type of drugs that they used was different. The rock stars in the 70s and the 80s,
Whitney Houston.
rock stars in the 70s was in the 80s. Coke was a rich person's drug. Um, but then it started turning into to crack, and that was a whole nother wave. That shit kicked your ass. But heroin, all of that stuff, rock stars, that was just a part of life. Drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll was a
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's fucked up even more now because everything is laced. You can't trust nothing. Fentanyl is in
Yeah.
everything. And I just personally, I would be scared to death to be a druggie today. I would be scared to death to be a drug user today, considering the impact that it could have on your life, as far as it could literally be fatal immediately. So, I
And
think
some
a
of
lot of
it's
people
not
are
even
addicted.
fentanyl. And some of it's just I know a big thing here in the DMV is just synthetic drugs.
Mm-mm.
So a lot of people are smoking weed that's not actually weed. It's some synthetic weed. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on that people are trying different things. I don't know what it is. I don't know the infatuation with drugs, but it's sad because he's
Do,
young.
do you think that it's possible? Let me go to Slimmy real quick. Slimmy, do you think that it's possible to be a great artist without actually being able to be living a life with the drugs, the the pills, the all of that. Even smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody tell me that they trees was laced.
I'm gonna tell these people this now. Once you reach a certain level of success, leave all that stuff behind, man, and I mean all of it, because it's an easy way to get to you. You know, people that don't like you no more, that want to see your downfall, they could just easily get you a bag that's tainted.
Yeah.
I didn't seen people lose their minds off this stuff. I done seen a lot happen. Man, leave them substances alone, man. I swear, even to drinking, I stopped for a reason. I'm
I
telling
think that's
people
what.
this because they can fuck you over through that shit, man. All it takes is for somebody who don't like you to just want to lace it. They can get
Mhm.
it to you.
Yeah.
They can get it to you. There's nothing stopping that shit from happening. They got the Pimp C. They got to him. Please believe. He ain't nobody that was using no crazy drugs like that. He probably was smoking some marijuana. They laced it. That's all it take. That's all it take. And then they just deem it as a oh, he OD'd. Think of how many artists we heard OD. And it's always around the same age. 33, 34, 37.
That's
Like it's
wild.
always the same ages.
Do you think that the quality of the music goes down if the drugs is not prevalent though? Because it's kind of a part of of music culture. Not just
Man,
rap, but in
no, no,
music in
no,
general,
no, yeah.
it's kind of
No,
a
I know
part
where
of
you're
the
going.
music culture.
They got to figure it out, man. They got to figure out a way to do this stuff sober. You know, because it is some credence to that, man. Like that sober music, maybe it ain't hitting the same. Maybe it ain't hitting the same. But figure it out, man. Figure out a way to get to some creative flow another way. Because they getting to people through them drugs. They are getting to people through that, man. I don't care
Mm,
what nobody say. Somebody that don't like you, somebody that always wanted to see your downfall, man, it could be the person next to you that's smiling at you every day.
yeah.
They don't. They just want to get. They want to see you up out of here, man. They
I've
want to see you
never
up
been
out of here, man.
I've never been a user at all. I've never ever in my entire life, even when I was a young guy, like when I was in high school, teenager and stuff, I never ever ever was a user. I never was a user. It just wasn't a thing for me, and I was always when we was coming up, I was always taught that it was cool to be the dealer, not the user. Not saying that it's a good thing to be the dealer because that was wrong too, but it was always cool to be the dealer, not the junkie. And it's like now, and that was in black culture, even though the rock stars and stuff. Again, that was a rich man's drug as far as all of that type of stuff that was going on. But now it's more or less the lines is completely blurred, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's more
Yep.
celebrated to be a user and to kind of be into it than it is to kind of kick it at all. Like you're looked at kind of sort of as like an anomaly. And I can kind of see how people would look at me kind of funny in a way that I live my life because it's like, oh, you think you too good. Like that's kind of been a narrative like, oh, you think you too good. Yeah, I do. I kind of do think I'm too good for it because, you kind of looked at as weird because you the only person that's not using. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? They think that if you go into spaces like let's just and I ain't even just talking about drugs, I'm talking about alcohol, all of that. If you a person that don't drink and you just sober the whole time and everybody else is kind of high or it is what it is or whatever, you're kind of looked at as weird. Like you looked at like what's going on with you? You trying to kick something? You want to diet or something? Like people start asking you questions like, "Oh, was there something going on? Was your father alcoholic or something like that?" Like, no, nigga, I'm just clear. I'm just enjoying my time. You know what I'm saying?
But
See, it's
some people act like they need, some type of stimuli to get them in a certain space, right? Like I've seen it in the studio where like, and they still not talented, but
Yep.
they gotta smoke weed
Yep.
before they so called right, or they gotta have lean or something, right? They get a whole bottle of Hennessy and don't realize they're getting ready to slur all over the mic. So you're not even about to hear the rap, right? It's only a select few of functioning alcoholics and drug addicts
Yeah.
that
I'll
still,
say this.
sang well and sound, sound decent while being addicted.
Once that stuff get in your blood, and I'm talking about, I'm gonna just strictly talk about alcohol because that's what I had to cut off. Once that stuff get in your blood, and I wasn't alcohol dependent. Thank God I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
start
another
tripping.
thing.
You start tripping. Like for real. They gotta wean you off alcohol. They literally have to you gotta go through not therapy, what is it? You
AA.
gotta go through no, not AA. You gotta go through the whole they drug addicts go through this too.
That's
Rehab.
because
You
you
gotta
talking
go
about
through
that
rehab.
codeine. You talking about that codeine?
No, just regular alcohol. Just
Oh,
out
okay.
liquor. Liquor. You have to go through rehab to get that stuff out of your
Oh,
blood. It gets
rehab.
in
I
your
got you.
blood. It gets in
Yeah,
your blood. And you're alcohol dependent. You start getting the twitch. You start itching. You start getting messed up because you do not. Thank you, detox, man. Thank you, Will. Uh, without alcohol. So imagine what hard drugs is gonna do to you when you become literally addicted to it and you can't stop using it.
Yeah.
but
Man,
I don't
it's
understand how
gonna
do people. I
destroy
I
you.
really would like to know that. Like, how do people get to a point where they're addicted, right? Because y'all seen my
because they
more
don't
part of
have
my
any
bar.
discipline.
Well, that's what
Is
I was
that
gonna
what it is
ask
though?
because
It's the same
how do you
thing when
get
it has to
addicted
do
and
with
drink
people
like
and
that?
sugar. Like people get addicted to sugar, and it's literally in your head. Like, don't eat sugar.
But I think it's a little different though, Quentin, because with sugar, right? Even if you only eat it a couple of times, there's actually an ingredient in sugar that triggers something, right? So does alcohol or drugs do the same? Like, is there something that triggers something to where you're like, I can't be without it?
Well, for
I
me now,
think
I can't speak on
I think a
alcohol.
strong
It
mind
don't make
probably
me mad.
trumps everything that someone goes through in their life. Is how strong willed you are in your head. I don't think if you don't if a weak mind can get addicted to something as simple as drugs or alcohol. I don't think.
I don't, Quentin. I'm not sure though, and the only reason that I say that I'm not
It's not a
sure is
weak mind.
because yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with your mind because
No.
we like to use, for example, drugs or alcohol or stuff like that, but addiction could be women. Addiction could be
Yeah.
masturbation. Addiction could be gambling. Addiction could be
And
a
that's
lifestyle.
all in your and that's all in your head. It's
No,
not
it's not.
how you.
No, it's
What
not.
makes you addicted to women that's not in your head.
No, that's in your
It's the
spirit.
Kanye says that he
it's the
addicted to
physical
porn.
feeling.
That's in your
It could be
spirit.
emotions. It could be
It's in
soul
your head.
ties.
Emotions are in
No,
your
no, no, no,
head.
no. Listen, listen. It could be
It's deeper
soul
than that.
ties. It could be something that you experience, and then once you had that feeling, that nut, that combined with other different things, it then changes the dynamic of how you interact with people and the type of environment that you in. Right? It's so many other factors than just the mind. The mind is one part of it, but it's not the entirety of how it is that people interact with people on a daily basis. It's not your experiences. It's not just based off of what it is that you think. It's also what it is that you got five senses for a reason. That plays a role,
A lot.
right? No, I mean I'm just talking and having
No,
a
you're right. A
conversation. I
lot of
don't
people
know.
don't
I
understand
don't
that
think so because
the
you can
body
even
has
tell in our
memory
criminal.
too.
So why is that like for mass deleters? Why isn't that I'm addicted to
What do you
deleting
mean a
people and they
deleter?
don't like a murderer? Like I like
Oh, okay,
murdering
okay,
people.
like a
Like
serial killer. I got you.
I'm addicted to murdering people and they don't let you off in court because of some addiction that you have.
Well, part of court
Because
though
it's
is
crazy. It's
what,
crazy
but you got to
that
remember
someone
that
would say
first of all you can plead insanity. That is a thing, and then the sec.
you just totally changed what I just said, but okay.
Well, no, no, you said court. You were saying why didn't they
Yes,
why
you
don't
can
they let you
plead
off in court?
insanity, but you can't like Jeffrey Dahmer, like these men. They're not getting off because they got off themselves by murdering people. Like it made them feel good.
Mhm.
They didn't stand up in court that they were insane. They killed them. They said
Well, he
no,
didn't.
But
He
buddy,
didn't want to. But he
weird.
didn't argue that point. He just said. He said, I did it, but there's definitely a chemical imbalance if you like doing that. There's definitely something wrong with you.
well, also
It,
on top of that, okay, it's a lot of other it's some people that then become cannibals and they eat people and you know what I'm saying? It's a no, it's not just in the
if
mind,
you
bro.
eat
It's not
people,
in the
there's something
mind.
fucked up in your mind if you eat people. Like what you
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
No, no,
If
but
you
look
do
at
if
this
you
though.
do anything outside the norm, there's something in your mind that's fucked up, whatever that may be.
Okay. And you no no no. I'm
All
not
right,
saying
so
that the
so
mind itself, I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm also saying that there's additional context to that. I don't think that just
it's
by
deeper.
default that it's only in the mind. I just don't. I think that the reason, listen, if it was only the mind and none of the other senses factored into it, I just don't believe that, bro. I can't because
And
your
and that's the
experiences.
thing. People don't do
So
that.
so okay. Let me ask you a question. Let's say a gambler, right? And everybody that I know that is a high roller make a whole lot of money. They don't need it, but they do it not because they're actually chasing money, but because of the experience. It's the casinos. I'll give you an example. I know for a fact that casinos make sure that they have no windows, they pump cold air, they keep oxygen running through. It's certain things that they do in order to continue to incentivize you and all of those different senses they play into those senses in order to keep you playing. They have hosts, and the hosts give you all of these gifts and stuff. Now, the gamblers can go and buy all of this shit without any even thinking about it. As a matter of fact, they bet more than any kind of perk that you can give it to them. It's the private jets and the planes and all of this stuff. And so most of the guys that I know that into it, they're not doing it because they need the money or that the money is even a factor. Why are they doing it? Is it only
Uh
because of the mind?
Yes.
no,
Okay.
I
no,
think your
because
car scripture, Romans 12:2 says it perfect.
Read it to me. What is it?
Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind,
Do you know what that
that
even
by
means?
testing you may discern
Do you
what
know
is
what
the
the
will of
renewal of your
God.
mind means in that scripture?
What does it mean, Anton?
No, you read it. I'm wondering if you know. You the
Like,
one
what
that
do you
used it
mean?
as a quote.
Transform your mind, get it right. Like, do not be of the world, be of me and what's in my scripture.
what?
Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't like everything that if you're right up here, you're fine. You're fine.
Do you
No, if
have
your
any? You
spirit
don't have to.
if your
That's not
spirit
true
is
though,
messed up,
because
that's
they
not you're
it's
not fine.
it's literally it's literally
It's more than
science
just a
that
mind.
the
It's
body
more than
has
just a mind.
memory.
Let
Yeah,
me ask
Like
you a
you
literally
have a
the
question,
body
Quentin.
spirit.
the
Let me
body
ask
has
you a
memory.
question,
So
Quentin.
if you may not remember something,
So if
but
you take away my
react
brain, my body can remember everything.
your
If you take
body
away
can
my
react to
mind,
something. Yes, your
my
body can.
brain is where my memory is.
No,
So
that
if
is
you take
not.
that
That
away, you could. So
sir,
you have memory.
sir.
I have memory in my thumb
I'm on my
without my
Kamala.
brain.
I'm
I have
talking.
memory in my
I'm
thumb without my
talking.
brain.
I'm
Like
talking.
right now, I don't care. You
I'm
sound
talking.
dumb. I don't care.
I
That
don't
sounds
I
stupid.
don't sound dumb.
Yes, you do.
Would you
Yes,
like me to
you
pull it
can't
up? You
remember
like doing
anything without your
research.
brain.
What is going on,
Just
Quentin?
because you don't know that's the thing with you. Just because you don't know it.
Your memory is in your mind. It's in your brain. It's not in
No,
your
it is
thumb. It's
not.
not in your
No, it is not.
pinky
No, it
toe.
is
You
not.
need your
You
brain
are
for
okay.
Quentin, Quentin,
First of all, you are what? 97, 98% water. It's already been proven in science that water has memory. So therefore, with your body literally having water as a component of, like, you don't like to get it, like, do you know quantum physics? Do you know any of that stuff? If you're not going to talk about all that stuff, then stop. Everything has memory. It's not just your mind.
I will say that.
Blow, blow, blow.
Yeah,
I'm back.
everybody has a spirit as well, and that's where a lot of people get taken over by addiction through the spirit. it becomes a
Yeah, I
problem.
think that spirits also do play a huge role in. I think you're right.
Yeah,
Spirits play a huge
people
role in
are
it too. But we don't want to talk about
yeah,
that part. Like, a lot of the things that we battle, and this is just my own opinion also. I think that it's spirits, I think it's principalities, I think it's a lot of things that go into it. I think it's short-sighted to only look at it and say that it's just a mental issue. I don't believe that.
yeah. No, it's deeper than that, man. It's because all right. So for instance, your mind can't free you from something that your body has to go through a whole transition over.
That's
So
true.
your mind can't free you up. If it was that easy, everybody would be able to just stop addiction just with a thought. You
I agree.
They're
can't.
not strong with
It's a
their mind. They're
spirit.
not disciplined. What you mean?
No,
Do you
That's
no.
what
realize
discerns
Quinn,
that
great
Quinn,
people
Quinn,
from
Quinn,
people.
Quinn.
It's
Wait, wait,
discipline
wait,
and
wait,
what's in
wait,
your
wait,
mind.
wait, wait,
That's the
wait.
difference. They're
Quinn,
not
Quinn, Quinn,
disciplined enough to
Quinn,
shake it.
Quinn. That's false.
do
That's
you
completely
realize
false.
though, Quentin?
It's people that are completely convinced that they want to stop doing something and they cannot. They
That's true.
can't stop.
That's true.
They can't
Yo,
because
yo, when have
that
if
spirit
you've
has
ever
overcome
seen
them.
somebody that's addicted to heroin, for example, right? Their body literally needs it in order to get back to normal. They have to get it in order for they're not doing it because it makes them feel good anymore. They doing it
Your
just to
car,
get
you get it. Your car. Everyone else is crazy. We'll just stay in our lane.
What?
what happened?
What?
He talking about your car because your car saying the devil can't tempt you, but
But it
the
also
devil.
happens when it comes to alcohol. A lot of alcoholics, for example, will tell you if you go to an AA meeting, if you've ever visited any of these meetings, it's like medicine to their body because their body has adjusted to that normalcy. That's why when they start to kick it, that they start going through all of the shivers, they gotta suffer, they gotta sit there, they be cold. They basically look like they got an extreme version of the flu. Like their body is reacting to all of the chemicals that has been training their body to then adjust to it in that particular way. I just don't believe that it's just only of the mind.
See, it's on the mind like probably like when you first start. Now, I will agree to the point that when you're talking about when we're talking about like peer pressure and not starting to do it, yeah, that's where you lack your discipline at. But once you become addicted to something, like for instance, a man that can't leave women alone, he can't he going around, he's sexing every woman. That is not something that's just mental. It's not just mental. This is something that he can't stop doing because he has a spirit that has control of him. I don't know where this is not connecting at. Like we living in a whole different world where we got spiritual warfare going on, bro. Like, and there ain't no way that you could
You want to know
even
something,
deny
Slimmy, though?
this.
I never, I never understood that people, right, that are spiritual or religious, they only believe one side of it,
It is
right?
way
So if
it's
you're
more
gonna
than
call
one side.
yourself being, if you're gonna call yourself being a believer of what technically is the supernatural, how is it that you don't believe that all these other things can coincide and exist and be happening simultaneously with you being in a physical? Like I don't understand it. So did it
Why you
only
guys
happen during Jesus' time? Like I don't understand.
why you guys are gaslighting this shitty man, Quentin? Why?
Why are
What?
we
Here we
who?
go.
Yeah, why you guys lighting him? Like it's like me explaining gravity and then say, but there's some spirits around that will push you faster. Like we know what an addiction is. It's a chemical dependency. You are going to become dependent of something to the point where your body is going to crave it. And the only way to stop it is to recalibrate your brain so you can stop actually be dependent of those things. That's literally one-on-one science. So why are we putting spirits and ghosts and the devil wants you back? So you better go get that drink, sir. The
I
Don
think
Julio is
that
looking at
I
you.
think that that's a simple way to operate in life. And I think that a lot of
Hmm.
times those of us that are spiritual, um, we kind of dumb ourselves down in order to seem more normal or to be able to have these conversations. Um, but the belief of something, and let me choose my words carefully here, the belief of something requires a level of faith because you can't necessarily prove it to other people. And so you may even have experienced it. And I use this example often at times, and I'll say, well, listen, if me and Rita is sitting here and some face comes through the ceiling, right? And it's real, and both of us see it, and we both can confirm it, and I got a witness that says, "Oh man, that's experience." And then that face goes up back through the ceiling, and I'm using an extreme version of it in order to illustrate an example. That face goes back up to the ceiling. Me and her both seen it. Me and her both can confirm it to each other, but I can't prove it to you. Does it make it any less true?
Hmm.
Yes, that's fair. But
So here's my point is that I think that there are deeper conversations that I am willing to get into. Um, but I don't think that everybody is prepared to go into it because most people are not believers. Most people don't believe in that side of it, or even if they do, even if they subscribe to the idea of a God or it being a God or it being a higher being of some sort, it doesn't necessarily mean that they believe to the extent that you do. I believe that spirituality plays a much larger role than we give it credit for, but we like to make sure that we believe based off of our own experiences and what we can prove. But I believe that spirituality plays a much larger role in our lives than we like to give credit for.
Well, the thing about when
Mm-mm.
it comes to that, you don't have to. When it comes to spiritual and Christianity and all, you don't have to prove anything because it's nothing. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Correct.
That's literally what the Bible says, which means it's all in your it's all in your mind.
It's not all in your mind. It's the belief in it doesn't mean that the existence of it is not true. The belief in it, listen, the thing about it is that God wants you to believe in it. And so if God came through and he showed us all, then we wouldn't have to believe in him. It would just be something that's real, right? There would be no need for faith. You would have no reason to step out and say that, you know what? I actually do want to do something different and I'm gonna go and leapfrog into this thing because there would be evidence of it. I don't have to believe that Fatty is here because Fatty is sitting right there in front of my face. There is no faith. There is no faith of a mustard seed. There needs to be no faith plus works is what's going to become fruitful and then make you successful. That's the difference, right? That's the thing that separates the people that are believers from people that's not.
yeah, but there's a fallacy because just because just because you we don't have the tools to understand something doesn't automatically mean there's something there, right? And that's what the problem with the beliefs versus reality is usually the people that don't believe, they say we don't have the tools, we don't have the understanding to actually say that this is real.
But see, here's the
And
thing.
Okay,
I
but
I do I do I have experienced things in my life that I
hmm,
unequivocally 100% can say that God is real, that Jesus 100%, 100% without no shadow of a doubt in my mind is real. But I can't explain it to you because even if I did, it wouldn't mean that you would believe it. I can't present you the evidence of it, but I know what I've experienced personally in my life to lead me to believe that it 100% is real.
yes, but Anton, does the devil show up sometimes to uh, trick people into doing something?
Yeah, 100%.
Prove that that thing that happened to you,
I can't
it
prove
was
you.
God, not
But
the
see
devil.
that that's
No, no,
a
no, no.
it's a false
Listen
negative
to your
because
listen to your logic.
no. Listen,
Listen to your
listen.
logic.
I can't
Huh?
prove to you that what I experienced was God. I just
But you
explained
said
that.
you said that you
I can't
know
prove
they
to you.
exist.
I can't prove to you either one.
Huh?
I wouldn't
No,
try.
yeah, but that's the thing, and this is what I'm talking about. We doing leaps on like we already have a pre-existing idea, and then when, as soon as something happen, we say it must be that person. If the devil shows up and he tricks people all the time into doing some things, how can that person that saw that spirit, ghost, Jesus, whatever, don't know
Because
that
if
that
you're a
person is God?
believer and
Why
it's
cannot
these
that be
that
the devil just
if
tripping
you're a
you?
believer, for example, then you know that if you are a saint and you are a person that's truly of God, then the devil
Hmm?
needs permission to even touch you in the first place. It's not a trick.
Yes,
It's a test. Now it's a difference. It's for some people it's a trick. For other people it's a test. And so in
just that.
order for the devil to even have any say so whatsoever, he has to have permission to even exist in my life in the first place because of what it is that I believe. And see, now we're starting to deep dive a lot more into it, and this is where it's going to become a much deeper conversation, in which we probably need to have a whole nother separate live stream as a result of it. But again, my point is that I think that is more than just in your mind as far as some of the
It is.
addictions and some of the things that people experience, such as with Homie Quan.
It
I'm
is.
just I'm just saying that is a little bit arrogant from us human beings to want to try to understand things that are out of our understanding, especially because there's 2,000, 9,000, 10,000 gods. Why do you know that your God is the right one? Why? How do you know that the God that
But
showed up, the God that
all
exists,
of them
is the
though,
right
all
one
of them
when you
have
are
the
not
same.
understanding?
All of them
Huh?
have the same premise. All
But
of them
that's
have the
irrelevant.
same premise and operate off the same system, the yin and the
No, they
yang.
don't.
So
No, they don't. No, they don't.
all of them operate off the yin and the
No,
yang.
no, they don't.
All of them.
Absolutely.
Whether
No,
you're
they don't.
talking about Isis and
The
Osiris,
pagan gods, the
whether you're
pagan
talking
gods that
about
we know.
Allah,
So
excuse
the
me.
pagan gods and the Greek gods are have the same principles that
No,
these
I said
Christian
the
and
same
Hebraic gods.
premise. I didn't say principle. I said premise,
And what
meaning
does that mean?
you have the good and the bad, the negative, the positive. It operates off the same, and you have to use faith. It all
I'm gonna
operates the
use the
same way.
bathroom really quickly, and then we're gonna go to the next subject right after this. But
Yes,
go
It
ahead,
all
y'all
operates
keep
but
the
going.
same way.
I'll be right back.
but Mika, you know what
So
the problem is? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just wanted to say the problem for us to use God and spirits to talk about this is that you can even make a mouse being a cokehead or an alcoholic or addicted to sugar. You can. That's how mammals and most animals are designed. They get addicted to things if you expose them long enough to certain circumstances. You are not telling me is the spirit of the guinea pig that is turning him into a cokehead. No, it's the pharmacist that is making experiments on them and he's putting coke in front of his face all day, and now he's a Tom and Jerry crackhead. That's the reality. Like, while we make things difficult, like there's so much things that are out of our grasp and out of our understanding. Why make things that are under our understanding more difficult than it's supposed to be? See what I'm saying?
Wait a minute.
under
So
what
you saying
understanding?
that?
Or that mouse doesn't
What?
believe in the Holy Spirit, and
Wait.
this is
Hold
why
on. Wait.
he
Wait.
is
Wait.
addicted to sugar.
Hold on, fatty. Hold on, fatty. You
Yes.
said that a mouse could be a cokehead.
Hmm.
Is that what you said?
Somebody said that there's people that believe there's no good or bad. Good good or bad is not the word I used. The word I used was negative and positive.
That's
Hmm.
not what you said, good or bad. You literally said good or
Neg-
bad.
Negative or
Like you keep
positive.
saying shit.
Flip flopper.
That's not
Flip
what you
flopper.
said.
Hold the
Run
phone.
it
Flip
Damn.
back.
flopper.
Damn.
Hold the
Flip
phone.
flopper.
Stand down, flip flopper. Hold the phone.
Fatty,
So
what she say? She said good or
negative or
bad. She
positive,
said
that
the
is a
premise
real
was good or
thing. I
bad.
don't care what you call it. There is a negative or positive. You have to use everything uses that to exist. Everything.
Drug drugs are amoral. They are not good or bad. The same drugs that are killing people right now are using on the hospital to someone that is full of pain and they are getting the benefits of it. So like it's not good or bad. It just depends on what is the final destination and how you actually insert in
Like
your
people
body.
want to
So
get into specifics of a religion. I wasn't even talking about specifics of any religion because there's a lot of them.
Any final thoughts on this or Rich Homie Quan? Anybody?
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say
Stop
one thing.
messing with them. Stop messing with them drugs, man. Because that shit
Yeah.
will that shit will have you out here, man.